Alright, that's bucket change number 3 for the morning. I got a quick coupler ordered. We're gonna see if we can't make this a little easier. I'm gonna show you what we're doing though. This is a project I got into. This is a walking trail project Oklahoma City's got going on. I guess they're putting walking trails in for everybody. Maybe so they can get to the casino faster. I don't know. They can ride their scooters. I really don't know what they're up to, but I think they're trying to do something for fitness, and I'm sure it's a federal government project. I don't know who's paying for it. But what we're doing, or ever so often on these trails, you got to have a footing under a retaining wall. And these are what they call a keyway footing. So we dig out the top part of the footing, we dig out wide, and then we got to dig a 1 foot wide key in the bottom. So in all of these stakes over here, we got a change of elevation. We're coming up a hill, so we got to come up and keep coming up. Anyway, we got to back in here over this hole and dig a keyway. Anyway, back to what we're doing here. So the way I do this, since I have a backhoe, is if the dirt will hold you up. I mean, not all dirt will hold up a backhoe like this, but this stuff's been pretty good. So we get up here on the hole, we can't reach 25 feet because we're going down like 3 foot below, 3 foot 3 or 3 foot 4 below this what do you want to call it, the wide part of the footing, I guess. Got a great stake here I'm trying not to hit too, so we just kind of ease in over and hover over this ditch using outriggers, and like I say, it works okay. Sometimes it caves in the ditch just a little bit, but for the most part it's been working alright. But you can see we've got an elevation change every 25 feet, so what I've been trying to do is just make it easy and do a section. Do 25 foot, and then we'll go back and dig the keyway. Because if you get too far down the line, you can't do that. You gotta be able to get back over the ditch. Not quite wide enough to drive down in the wide part. Suppose if you had a mini X, you might be able to do it that way. I don't know, but this is how a backhoe guy does it, and you can tell this is what I call a red shell, but so far it hadn't been awful hard. It's just been a little bit hard. But you can see rock teeth are kind of a necessity on here. The grade man's cleaning up some stuff. Whenever they was trying to move the spoils, they dropped some off in the hole. We had that pretty clean until they started moving spoils. Just not a lot of room to work here. So So one of these days they'll have 8-foot wide sidewalks all over Oklahoma City, connecting the zoo and all that stuff. So I guess if you like walking trails, you can come to Oklahoma City and walk around on walking trails. Some of these places I wouldn't walk at night for sure. Maybe I'm just uneducated. They're probably really safe. I don't know. Anyway, that's what we're doing today. We were over here. I was over here 2 days ago, and then I had to go to another job. Now I'm back. We're probably gonna get into some rock up here we can't dig, I would imagine. I don't see us being able to dig over this hill. Started out pretty darn easy down there at the bottom. Fact is, I had a smooth edge on my 1-foot bucket when we started, and it was working pretty good, but we got into this stuff and I had to change back to my shanks and teeth. And I finally got this bucket set up wide enough that it actually does what it needs to do pretty well. You gotta have, I didn't realize it, but this 1-foot bucket, you need to have them teeth set about 2 inches wider to make it really perform. So at the tip of the tooth, you're about 14, and then that gives your bucket room on the sides, because if you got it too tight, you're fighting against the side cutters, rubbing on the ditch wall, and that ain't good. So that's why we're doing it this way. I think this keyway here is 3'3" below the footing. Like I say, I don't know why they're doing it this way. This is what the engineers screwed up. That's what they decided to go with. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I've seen water retaining walls that didn't need a keyway. But some engineers like keyways. I hate them. Absolutely hate them. If we were just digging a footing here, we'd be done. You know? But it takes more time, make more money, move, you know. But when my pivot pin on my bucket gets down to about the top of the dirt, that's about 3 foot. Somewhere thereabouts, 3 foot, depending on the bucket angle. So we're getting close. There's a pile of dirt down there. I'm gonna have to try to get a little closer to pick up. So I have to back up over this hole a little bit farther. This is one of the reasons, this job here is one of the reasons I went ahead and ordered a quick connect for the backhoe. I'm doing a bucket change about every 30 minutes. I think it's about the way it's working out. We can almost, I think we can get one section done every hour. So, but if I had a bucket connector or my quick upper, I could actually not have to straddle this hole. I could switch buckets. Switch buckets more often. I'd have them both down here with me, and I think it would probably work out really, really, really good. Yeah, and I'm not running any keepers in my pins because the keepers get knocked off in the dirt because these pins are wider than a 12-inch bucket. So there again, that's another good reason to have the teeth set wider than the bucket is, well, fun digging like this. Well, I guess it's fun. I don't know. I'm too dumb to know any better. My idea of fun and yours may be different. I don't know. You probably want to use an excavator. So I'm gonna have to back up here a little farther to get some more of that dirt out. I like to dig the hard part down before I get stretched way out over these holes because I got this stupid great stake over here too I need to try to dodge. So I can only go back until the front tires start to dip in the hole, which I've got a little bit of room here. So if you did this with an excavator, I think you would probably have to have, you'd have to be changing buckets more often, I think. You couldn't straddle it like this. You might be able to drive down in the hole, I don't know. But anyway, what we like to do on this keyway is the way you're supposed to do them is you dig the lower keyway into the top keyway, or into the step. So footing steps up here, but we actually want to continue on that depth on the lower keyway into the area where it changes depth. That just gives it a little bit better. I think that's how they drew them up, so that's how we're going to do it. But anyway, we're probably pretty close right there. I'm going to hop out here and check grade, I guess. Just a little bit deep, that's okay. If I'm shooting great for myself, I'm gonna try to be sure I'm a little bit deep. Okay, now we're gonna move forward. Basically, I kind of let my front end fall in the hole a little bit here, so I'm gonna have to use the bucket curl as I lower the loader and as I push forward until I get my front wheels stable. Let this guy get by me here. Raise my front bucket up a little bit. Don't want to go too high, you don't want to tip over. You want to move forward here. Back on my line, my layout, and I'm ready to dig again. So that's kind of how it works. There's some nasty stuff we're digging here. Red Oklahoma stuff. Anyway, I welded those shanks on this bucket last night. I hope they hold. I was kind of in a hurry because I was tired and I didn't really want to do it. But it's either fix your bucket or don't go to work, so can't go to work, can't make money at home all the time. So anyway, it wasn't too bad. It took a couple hours. But you can hear every now and then, you hear some harder rock. And we're pretty close to what they call the Deep Fork River. It's not a very big river, it's more like a creek. It's just down the hill there, but all along this creek, the Deep Fork, there are areas where you will hit rock you absolutely cannot dig. And you'll need a jackhammer. The rod buster coming back. You'll need a jackhammer in places around there, but I think we're probably going to get into some spots we can't dig up to. And they'll have to come up with another plan. I don't know what that is, whether they get a jackhammer. I really don't know. I'm not sure what they may do. They may over excavate it and then backfill it, and then we'll come back and dig a footing on it. I don't know. That might be the plan. Anyway, well, this is our next step right under this flag that we're sitting by right here. So they're ordering I'm getting a Geeth coupler. Kind of had trouble finding a company that dealt with New Holland. They seem to be a pretty solid company. They've been building couplers for 60 years, and they have a kit for New Holland B95, and that's what I got ordered. It wasn't cheap, but the couplers weren't cheap, because hopefully it's built well and won't fall apart. Anyway, so my Geeth dealer in Oklahoma it used to be Oklahoma City Tractor, now it's ASCO Case, or ASCO. I don't know if it's ASCO or ASCO. Just one S. I guess it'd be ASCO. I don't know. Probably not ASCO. But anyway, they said it'd probably be a 3-week lead time on the valve. The couplers are installed, so that's good to hear that the couplers are not scarce. But the valve kit with all the pieces, it probably takes them a while to put a kit together like that, I guess. I don't know, something like that. That's the reason I got it. But 3 weeks, I should be putting the coupler on me. Receiver I've got, you can see it's on the backhoe boom up toward the top there, mounted on the side, and it's a LS 200BW, I think, or LSWB. I don't know. It's a Topcon product. But the way it works, when it's on the backhoe, is you set it to where I have to pull my extender hoe in, and it's got a green light that flashes at the top that tells you if the stick's vertical. So you're only going to be able to check grade at that point. That's grade right there. Got green lights. I got a green light on the plumb. I got a green light on the level. So that's how that works. But basically, you have to kind of guess at your grade everywhere else. So I can get a pretty good idea. But like I say, if I slide the extender hoe out, the receiver stays in one spot. So pull that down a little bit. We'll get this set. And I I think that's about great. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. The reason this receiver works really neat is I can actually pull up the display on my phone. Now, in this case, I don't really need to because I can see it. But sometimes if you're digging with your boom in the wrong location, or you can't see the actual receiver, you can pull it up on the phone and it'll give you it'll give you the same readout. It'll show you the plumb and it'll show you the grade, whether it's level or not. Also on my phone, like I say, I'm having a little bit of trouble getting it adjusted right where I want it. I can change the plumb, I can change the height. So say my grade man shoots a spot that he says this is right, I can check it, and if I wanted to change the location of my boom or reset within a few inches my grade, I can hit 0 and it'll set everything to 0 wherever that's at. So I think it's a very handy receiver. I think it's better than, I looked at some other ones. I've got another one on that's a smaller. It just does, all it does is flash lights at you. It doesn't tell you if you're plumb. It doesn't tell you, you know, you can guess at it. But if your stick is not absolutely plumb, whenever you check grade, you're not going to get a good reading. Now we're fixing to get into some stuff up here I don't think we can dig. I thought it might be a little further up the hill, but I think we're there. Anyway, these guys are getting ready to pour some wall. They poured some footings. They got their footings in before it rained last week. We got rain last Friday. Kind of messed up digging for a little bit, but says I need to go down about an inch. But this is the footing depth is 1 grade, and then we change to a 12-inch bucket, and then we dig down. On this one, it's got to go 3 foot 3 deeper than the footing. So the keyway footing is 3 foot 3 deeper than this. So I thought we'd be able to dig up at least 2 of these today. I got here, I've been on another job. I had to load up some trucks, and it took a little bit to get them loaded. Once I got done, I got up here about noon. It's about 2 o'clock now almost. So it takes about an hour to dig one of these if everything goes right. A 25-foot section I could dig in about an hour. So you could well, I don't know. I think that's about as quick as anybody's gonna dig one. But like I say, we're getting into the rock now. I don't think we're gonna be able to do a whole lot more. If it gets too hard to dig, they're gonna come in. Oh, tree root. I thought that was a pipe. That's an old tree root. Kind of scared you a little bit. Anyway, we're getting into some sandstone, sand rock. Like I talked about before, there's some rock around these parts that you can't hardly dig it without a jackhammer or a big excavator with ripper teeth or rock teeth. Been digging a little bit of hard shell. The 12-inch bucket, you know, it's been the one that's really had to go deeper, so and it does fairly good with the twin tiger teeth on it. But back to the laser receiver, I use it on the dozer as well. Put it on a pipe on the blade, and I can switch it from plumb to tilt, and it'll tell me if my blade's level. It'll tell you if you're on grade or if your blade's level. So once again, it's nice to be able to use your phone to reset grade within a couple inches, because you might be building a pad and you want to build it up just a little bit before you cut the final on it. So it's pretty easy just to, without moving anything on the machine or moving the laser itself, you can just basically set it off of your phone. And a real nice tool. I'm pretty proud of that purchase. I think it was not cheap, but it's one of those quality, it's a pretty quality tool. I think it'll last a long time. I brought it with me today because the guy I'm working for said he didn't know if he'd be able to have a grade man handy. So just to be on the safe side, I brought it. I've got a magnetic. I went ahead and bought the TopCon magnetic receiver bracket for the boom, which you can stick that on just about anything metal. We're getting into some stuff here I don't think we're going to be able to dig. I don't want to tear this bucket up. This bucket's been busted a couple times already, so what I'll try to do, some of this is layered pretty good, so everybody that tells me I ain't got no rocks in Oklahoma, and I know these are not like your granite or your limestone or whatever, but let me tell you, we've got a few rocks in Oklahoma. And they are rough on equipment. Kind of amazing there's a tree root through that stuff down there. I don't think we're going to be able to finish this section. We kind of dug some test holes the other day over here, and I don't want to break this bucket.